Okay, okay. Sorry. I think.
Admit ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡಿ.
Hello.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಸೋಮಶೇಖರ್.
ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಸರ್.
ಹೇಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಸೋಮಶೇಖರ್?
ಸರ್ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಬಂದೆ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಹೇಗಿದೆಪ್ಪ ಎಲ್ಲ?
ಸರ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಫೈನ್ ಸರ್.
ಗುಡ್, ವೆರಿ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ. ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರಾ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್, ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಹಾಕ್ಸಿ ನೋಡೋಣ ಹೇಗ್ ಕಾಣ್ತಾರೆ ನೋಡೋಣ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ.
ಸ್ಮಿತಾ.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಸೋಮಶೇಖರ್.
ಸರ್ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಸರ್. ಸ್ಮಿತಾ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನಿಮ್ಮ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಎಸ್ ಸರ್. ಸರ್ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಒನ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸರ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಹೇಗಿದೆಪ್ಪ ಎಲ್ಲ?
ಸರ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಫೈನ್ ಸರ್.
ಗುಡ್, ವೆರಿ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ. ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರಾ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್, ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಹಾಕ್ಸಿ ನೋಡೋಣ ಹೇಗ್ ಕಾಣ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೋಮಶೇಖರ್.
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್, ಎಸ್ ಸರ್. ಅದು ಎಕೋ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ.
ಋಷಿಕೇಶ್ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರ ಹಿಂದೆ
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ, ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸ್ಮಿತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಿಖಿಲ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು?
ವಿಜೇತ ಅಂತ ಸರ್.
ಗುಡ್. ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್.
Good morning, sir.
ಸೋಮಶೇಖರ್, ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್.
ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಎವ್ರಿವನ್. ಸರ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಿಖಿಲ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೃಷಿಕೇಶ್, ಸ್ಮಿತಾ 3 ಜನನು ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ವಿಜೇತ ಅವರು LLB ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಸರ್ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ UPSC ಸತಿ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀರಾ ಸರ್? ಬ್ರೀಫ್ ಆಗಿ one by one.
Yes, sir. I go, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
Yes, so good morning, sir. I am Vijetha Hosamani. I come from Vijaypura, currently staying in Dharwad. I have completed my law graduation from National Law University, Gujarat in 2019. Since then, I have been preparing for the CSE exam. This is my 4th attempt and the first interview.
Any work experience, Nikita?
Vijetha, sir, and no, sir.
Vijetha.
I have been preparing for since
no work experience.
No, sir.
Okay, and you stay in Dharwad?
Yes, sir, in Hubballi, sir.
Hubballi. Okay, thank you. Mr. Nikhil?
Good morning, sir. Sir, I'm Nikhil. I'm basically from Mandya. So I'm currently staying at Mysuru. So I'm currently working. Prior to that, I'm actually a mechanical engineer. Post that, I worked in one of the companies called as Elo.ai as business analyst. So post that, I gave my state PSC examinations, and I've been currently selected as Assistant Labor Commissioner in the government of Karnataka. So this is my 4th attempt at UPSC and my 2nd interview, sir.
You had one interview already?
Yes, sir. Way back in 2019.
When?
2019, sir. 2019 UPSC CSE.
2019. Okay, thank you. Smita?
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. My name is Smita GM. I'm from Ramnagar, and I've completed my graduation in Information Science and Engineering in 2019. Thereafter, I've been preparing for UPSC Civil Services exam. And I don't have any work experience.
Okay, Smita. And you
My
stay in
first name
Ramnagar?
is I stay in Kanakpura, which comes under Ramnagar district.
Okay, good. And Mr. Rishikesh?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. My name is Rishikesh. I've done my BTech in civil engineering and I passed out in 2019. Since then, I have been preparing for UPSC. But currently, from 2022, I'm working as a contracts civil engineer in Indian Space Research Organization. And this is my fourth attempt and second mains first interview.
Okay, good. So, very happy to meet all of you.
Same.
Extremely thrilled that four young people like you from Karnataka are going to appear for the mains. In the first instance, I see no reason why each of you can't make it to the IAS. I honestly can't see the reason why you can't make it, because A, you're well educated, B, you're articulate, C, you have adequate preparation, which is why you've got through the prelims and mains, and D, I presume you're motivated also, because to appear for these exams and to qualify calls for a special bent of mind, which you have from reason why any of you, all the four of you, should not make it to the IAS. Now, before I get started, I want all of you to pay close attention, because I have devoted my time to this. I have got other work. So if you have any other work, if you have to go elsewhere, please leave now. But for the next 1.5 hours, we should all be on the same page. I wanted to first ask each one of you, and I'll begin in a particular order. One, whether your interview is in English or Kannada, number one. And number two, whichever language it is, I want you to specifically tell me what is your great motivation in wanting to appear and get into the IAS. These are the two questions I want to ask you, and I want each one of you to respond to this. We'll begin with Mr. Rishikesh.
Sir, I'm giving my interview in English language, and my first preference is not the administrative service, but the Indian Police Service.
Okay.
I believe my qualities and my skills would be best calibrated in the police service, which I have been developing since the past 2 years.
Okay, good. We'll come back to that, Rishikesh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Smita GM. Smita?
Yes, sir. I'm giving my interview in English language. I think my qualities that help me serve as an IAS are like being consistent with the preparation and being dedicated to the service. And it gives me like I have been liking to work in various and diverse fields that can help in IAS. That's why it has been motivated me to look for IAS.
Okay. Nikhil from Mandya.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm giving my interview in English language. So, and the qualities that I think that is best suited for me to become an IAS is three major qualities that I've understood about myself. So, one is the grit, the ability to move forward even at the time of any hindrance or obstacle. The second one would be the curious nature or the curiosity that I contain. And the third one would be the creative nature or the creative aspect of picking up any problems that I see.
Okay. I want to ask you, Nikhil, what were your learnings
Yes, sir.
from the first interview that you went to in 2019?
Right. Sir, I got an interview marks of around 165. So, majorly during that point of the time, I think I was a bit less confident. And also, I could, in most of my mock interviews, also, people said that I was actually evading certain questions rather than addressing or trying to answer such a question. I used to just back out from the opinion based question. So, that was one of my drawbacks. And Other thing is that during the time of interview itself, they gave me a lot of opportunity to actually kind of draw the answer from the conversation itself, but I couldn't give the right set of answers. One of the questions that they asked was with regards to Lily Thomas case, so wherein they asked me with regards to criminalization of politics and what is the solutions for that. So I did not mention the Lily Thomas case, and I did not give it in a perspective from the judgment perspective. I just gave it as a personal opinion. So that did not add a lot of value to the answer.
And you did your first interview in English or Kannada?
English itself, sir. English.
So, in other words, what you are saying, Nikhil, is that your first interview has given you some valuable lessons that you will implement now.
Absolutely, sir.
Good. Nikita.
So it is
Nikita, go ahead.
So my interview will be in the English language. So having a passion towards making an impact through social service, I think the Indian Administrative Service, through its ambit for the work that we can do and the diversity of the work that it provides, would be well suited for my personality, and hence that is my first preference in the services.
Very good. Very happy to hear all of you. And I want to start this by saying there are 5 things that are integral for an interview. I request you to kindly absorb these 5 things in a positive manner. The first is, whatever answers you give must bear to your personality. There must be a personal touch to whatever you are saying. As our young friend Nikhil said, we don't want any editorial comments. We don't want any editorial comments, because basically it is Smita or Nikhil or Rishikesh or Nikita, right? That's your name?
Vijetha, sir.
Sorry, Vijetha, beg your pardon. Or Vijetha, who are appearing for the interview. So they want to know who is the real you. Very important. And see, they will be interviewing many candidates every day. If I remember right, at least a minimum of 10 candidates a day spread over 2 months or maybe 2.5 months. So each board will be talking to at least 500, 600 candidates. So 2 things are important there. One is, they can make out who a candidate is quickly. And 2, the time that is available for you to establish your credentials is also limited, maybe half an hour. Keep that in mind, that this personal statement is very important. So I like what Vijetha said on why she wants to join the IAS. Like that, each of you has got a personal reason why you want to join the IAS. But nowadays, they don't ask those questions like I used to ask earlier, because it is presumed that you, being intelligent young adults, you know why you want to get into a particular service. Just like our friend Rishikesh said that he wants to get into the police, right? Rishikesh, Tane?
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes,
his
sir.
name. Where are you? Where are
Yes,
you?
sir.
You are
First.
Rishikesh?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
He said he wants to get into the police. So, firmness of conviction on why you want to do a particular thing must come through in your answers. Not just in why you want to join the IAS, but in all the answers that you will give. A certain clarity of the mind and firmness, consistency in conviction. That leads me to the second point I want to make, which is, see, there are 2 types of questions which they'll ask you. There are questions of fact and there are questions of opinion. So questions of fact are something that you must either know or don't know. For instance, someone is from Ramnagaram. What is special about Ramnagaram? There must be some factual thing in Ramnagaram. Or what is special about Mandya? Or what is special about Hubli? Or what is North Karnataka famous for? Those matters are all matters of fact. When did India become a republic? It's also unlikely that those questions are being asked because, see, this is not a general knowledge quiz. Which is the capital of Albania? They won't ask those questions. But in the course of conversation, they will know how truthful you are. Because if you are not sure about a question of fact, then it means that you have not done the proper background and you are not consistent. On questions of opinion, so there is no right or wrong opinion. There is no right or wrong opinion. But there is a well-argued, well-reasoned opinion that is expected from people who are appearing for the All India Services exam interview. Whatever you say must be logical, must be clear, and it must come in a proper communication manner. I'll come to communication in a minute. I am on the point of honesty in your answer. Questions of fact, questions of fiction, questions of opinion, that is, and questions of opinion must be well argued. So, it is likely that you may not know the answer to a question, quite likely. If so, instead of trying to fib an answer, you can say, I'm not very sure, but I can try. And you will find that that will always meet with a positive response because you see, you're not an encyclopedia. I mean, you might have done a BE, you might have done a BA LLB, you might have done whatever other course that you have, but you are not an encyclopedia. Nobody expects you to have an answer to everything. But honesty of purpose, bringing out a matter properly, that is important. That is the second point I want to make. The third, very critical, good communication skills. The good news is that all the four of you speak English well. You're articulate. You're modulating your voice. You're formulating your words correctly. Several people from Karnataka that I know who have appeared for the interview, either when I have gone for the interview there or when I have seen it in Topper, they are very hesitant to voice their opinion. Their English language skills are poor. Sometimes they are not able to convey what they want to say, either because they are tongue-shy, tongue-tied, or because they can't put it in proper words. You don't have it. In fact, I remember, and Somsekhar will agree, to some people I would say, read the editorial in the Hindu paper loudly, because that paper still has retained a certain standard. And if you read it loudly, your voice will get accustomed to hearing those words. Your ear will get accustomed to hearing those words. Many a time, our young men and women from Karnataka falter because they psych themselves up. Madlebeko, illedre mana ಹೊಟ್ಟೋಗ್ತದೆ, ಮರ್ಯಾದೆ ಹೊಟ್ಟೋಗ್ತದೆ, ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಆ ಒಂದು ಫರ್ವರ್ಲಿ ದೇ ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ, ಬೆವರು ಸುರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಫಾಲ್ಟರ್. ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಯಾರು you are not going into interview just like that. You have adequate time to have prepared. Some of you have been working for the exam and interview for some time. So, yaru nimmalli atara tondreyalli sikkakobekagilla. You are all young, smart, capable people. But communication is important. I also have advised people, I want to make the same advice to you, that if you really want to know how English language is spoken, listen to the BBC English channel, the news. You don't have to imitate the BBC, I'm not saying that. Yav tara words articulate ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, yav tara speech present ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ in order to get an understanding. Try to hear ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. For you, it doesn't apply, but for you, certainly I would request, if you have time, to read Hindu paper editorial loudly, because that will help you to practice. It will help you to practice your English. The fourth thing I want to emphasize is a positive attitude. You see, I have spent 30 years in the IAS, and I want to tell Somshekhar, get them 2 copies each of my books which I have written about administration, called Jaitra Yatre and Rajamarga. I actually wrote it in English. I got it translated into Kannada. It was published in Vijay, Karnataka. And it was brought out. One was while I was in the IAS, second when I had retired. Read it. I'm sure all of you can read Kannada. And if you read it, it will get you an idea. It's also simple Kannada. It will give you a flavor of what administration is, how to deal with people, how to deal with politicians, usual subjects that people always ask about. Why I say this is because if there's one thing I have learned, that to be effective, you must be positive. There are many constraints in the service. There are many impediments that you will face. There are times when you feel that you will be defeated because of the circumstances. But if you retain a positive attitude, I can do it. I know I have the wherewithal to make a difference, like what the young lady Vijetha said. I want to make an impact. You have the potential of making an impact, provided you have a positive attitude. And that positive attitude must come forth in the IAS interview or IPS interview. In other words, you must appear before the interview board smartly dressed. I'm not saying well dressed. I'm not saying you must wear expensive clothes and go. Illa. I'm saying I want you to be smartly dressed. And you know what smart dress is. I want you to have a proper beaming countenance. I want you to comb your hair nicely. I want you to look spick and span, have your shoes polished, so that when you go for the interview board, you're exuding a positive demeanor. All right? And once you have that positive demeanor, you can steer your way through the interview. You are not hapless. You are not subject to the mercy of the interview. You can shape it. When I went for my interview, I went to a legend called Rao, S. Rao, of Rao's IAS Study Circle. And I had come back from America and I was doing the interview. And it was my first attempt. I did economics and law and all that. And then I went for the interview with him. And he told me 2 things that I would like to repeat to you. One is, when a question is asked, don't jump into the answer immediately. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಟೈಮ್ ತಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಒಂದು 5 seconds. ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡಿ. ಆಗ it shows a presence of mind. Don't take too much time. They'll think you are slow. No. Question is asked. ಮುಗಿಸೋನ್ ಮುಂಚೆನೆ you don't jump into the answer. Take your time. Secondly, he said, if you take a little bit of time, and if there are questions of opinion that are asked, it's a priceless thing, he told me. Most of the people who ask questions of opinion also contain a little bit of the answer they want to hear. Try it out. What do you think about the abrogation of Article 370 of the Indian Constitution in respect of Kashmir? Don't you think it was a good decision? Well, take it from there. So, Very important to have a positive attitude to the interview and to carry that positive attitude to your life. Because see, at the end of the day, and I tell all my young colleagues from Topper and elsewhere, Yen Maha, okay, you don't get in, you don't get in. ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ ಬೀಳ್ತದ ಅನಾಹುತ ಆಗ್ತದ ಈಗ our young friend is working in ISRO. It's an excellent organization to work for. And others, all of you, I mean, you're all highly capable. Even Vijetha is a law school graduate from NLS Gujarat. She can get a great job, no issue. She can work. So can all of you. So can Smita. So can Nikhil. So what I'm trying to say is, it's not the end of the world. ನನಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಲಂಗಿದ್ರೆ ಆಗ್ಲೇ ಮುಗ್ದೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ ನನ್ನ ಲೈಫ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಬಹಳ ವಿಶಾಲವಾಗಿದೆ ಲೈಫ್. ಬಟ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಗಿವ್ ಮೈ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಶಾಟ್. I want to do well because I have that self-esteem to do well. So a positive attitude ಕೆಳಗಡೆ self-esteem ಅಂತ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಆತ್ಮವಿಶ್ವಾಸ. Very important. So finally, fifth thing I am telling you is about precision. See, time is limited. ಏನೇನೋ ಹೇಳೋ ಬದಲು, ರಗಳೆ ಮಾಡೋ ಬದಲು ಪ್ರಿಸೈಸ್ ಆಗಿ ನಿಮ್ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡಿ. What is Mandya famous for? Mandya, sir, is famous for its agricultural commodities. It is also famous for processing agricultural things like sugar, etc. I mean, whatever appeals to you. What is North Karnataka famous for? So I'm just giving you some examples. And you will have to think on the spot and fashion your responses. But your responses must be precise. Anybody. Because see, time is limited. And they only want to see, what is your thinking process? How do you filter information? How do you process it? How do you bring it out? That is a measure of the personality. And what is your thinking ability? So, I always advise young people, be precise. So remember, these are the 5 important points I start with. That is basic and germane to every interview. 1, whatever you say must be a personal, powerful statement of who the real you are. Rishikesh or Smita or Vijetha or Nikhil. Asli agirbeku, nakli agirbardu. Secondly, be honest. Be honest in your answer. They're either questions of fact or questions of opinion. Questions of fact, you know. You can't guess. Questions of opinion, you can hazard an opinion which is well-reasoned, thoughtful, articulate, and positive. And remember, they are not looking for revolutionaries. They are looking for people who will implement the Constitution of India. So, ನಿಮಗೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂಗೆ ಹೋಗಬಾರ್ದು, ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ತಾವು. ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ, ರಾಜ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ, ಜನಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ದುಡಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇಚ್ಛೆ ಇದ್ರೆ, then you must appear for these exams and interviews. I presume all of you are interested in that. Thirdly, communication skills. I've already briefed you on what communication skills are. Fourthly, a positive attitude, not only for the interview, but in life. Because at the end of the day, you lose nothing. You only gain things. And finally, precision. Precision in answer, precision in speech, precision in the way you look, carrying yourself with smartness and dignity, listening to the person asking the question. ಅವನು ಯಾವನೋ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀವೆಲ್ಲೋ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ನೋಡಬಾರ್ದು. Good morning, sir. I'm very happy to meet you and the honorable members. ಸಾಕು ಅಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನೇನೋ ಎಳೆಯೋದು ಬೇಡ. So those are the 5 things I wanted to start with. Now tell me if there are any questions. I'll be happy to answer them before we go to the next part. I will begin with Miss Vijetha. Any points, Vijetha?
Sir, I wanted to ask you about the introduction that we give to the panel in the beginning. Should we restrict it to our name and educational background, or do we add anything else to that, sir?
Well, Vijetha, it also depends on the question. They'll say, good morning, Miss Vijetha, come sit down, and they'll have your personal record in front of them. And the chairman will say, Vijetha, I noticed that you have got a LLB degree from National Law School, Gujarat. So tell us what you did there in Gujarat. You don't have to, as far as I know, you don't have to say, good morning, I'm Vijetha, I have done my LLB, I'm in Harvard. I don't think that will arise.
Okay,
From
all right.
my experience of also being on the board, it is the chairman whose task is to put you at ease. By the way, they also put you at ease, ma. They won't unsettle you. And they have been strictly told not to ask personal questions. You nakne bari marta idira, yak fail adri adala kelamma. They won't ask like, what is your father's salary? It's all there in the personal record. Adala kelala. So, to the best of my knowledge, you won't have to worry about. But if such a thing arises, you know what to say. Good morning. My name is Nikita. I'm very happy to be here. I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity. I have a degree from the Law College, Gujarat, and now I'm appearing for the interview. And I look forward to having a good conversation with you.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Smartaಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಮ್ಮ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಹೇಳೋದು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ Make it a conversation, an intelligent conversation. Question and answer ಇಲ್ಲ ಕ್ವಿಜ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಕ್ವಿಜ್ ಅವ್ನ್ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ನೀನ್ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡೋದು ಬೆವರು ಸುರಿಸೋದು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ ಕಾನ್ವರ್ಸೇಷನ್ ತಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ರು ವೆರಿ ರಿಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಮೆಂಟರ್ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಧ್ವನಿ ಏರ್ಸ್ಬಾರ್ದು ಅದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕೆಲವರು ಧ್ವನಿ ಏರ್ಸ್ತಾರೆ ಕೆಲವರು ಬಹಳ ಸ್ಟೀಬಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ you can find out no whether you are being heard.
Correct, yes,
right?
sir.
Fine. Make it a pleasant, structured, intelligent conversation. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Nikhil, any questions on the first part?
No, sir, nothing from my end, sir. The 5 points are clear, sir.
You understood all these 5. Did you apply these 5 points in your first interview?
So not with respect to some of the points, sir. I think I was not in a positive attitude at that point. So I was
Why?
still low on confidence.
Why?
So I was still, because it was my first interview, and also I was so much scared that if this could not work out, I had no other option. So that was my perspective at that point, sir.
See,
So
I'm glad you are being honest and candid. That's exactly what I want to say. It's natural, by the way, Nikhil.
Yes,
Anybody who is not nervous is unnatural. But you have to prepare yourself. You have to say, okay, I am the real Nikhil. I am not the nervous, fumbling Nikhil. I am a strong young man. Mechanical engineering madidin nanu. I can get going. So that is how you should. Thank you. That's a good answer. Let me come to Smita. Anything you want to say, Smita?
No, sir. I'm clear with the point.
Have you appeared for any interview anywhere, Smita, after you finished your BTech?
No, sir. Only company interview while in engineering.
You've been to a company interview?
Yes, sir. I had been placed, but I didn't take up the job.
ACE engineers.
No, I had been placed in a company, but I didn't take the job.
Which company?
Altron.
Did you go for interview?
Yes, sir. I have
How was
been for
it? Was
7 to 8
was-
interviews.
Did you apply these things in that interview, or was it very technical in nature?
No, it was technical in nature. College placements.
Good. Rishikesh.
Yes, sir. I have one question. It is regarding the opinion-based questions.
Go ahead.
It is my doubt is regarding the opinion-based question, sir.
Go ahead.
To what extent the opinion should, I mean, the boundary in the opinion.
What does that mean? Boundary?
I mean, we have certain opinions about the verdicts of the Supreme Court or the application of 370. I mean, criticizing the government to what extent?
That's a very good question. That's a very, very good question. I told you this entire interview must be about the real Rishikesh.
Yes, sir.
And the real Rishikesh wants to join the Indian police service because he wants to serve the public. And he has the skills and aptitude for that. But he also realizes that in order to be in the IPS, he has to be subservient to the Constitution of India. He has to follow the laws of the land. And everything has to be done in a proper manner. So even the opinions you have to voice must reflect that. So for instance, if it is about Article 370, my course of action would be that I support the Supreme Court decision on Article 370. Because the court has rightly ruled that there is nothing special about keeping it going forever. That Article 370 is no longer valid. But the basis for that must be a proper reading and appreciation of the judgment. Then you pick it up and then you give a concise answer. Burde bidbardo. I want to appear to be different and I am completely against the decision of the Supreme Court. I don't agree with it. I think it's a wrong decision. Yake, why? Why is it a wrong decision? If you can persuasively argue that point, that's okay. But since you are appearing for the All India services, ordinarily you would be expected to go along with those things. It's like, Mr. Nikhil saying that I support the Naxalites. No doubt the Naxalites have a great rally cry for justice. I also want justice. But justice does not get established because of violence or overthrowing the people. Justice has to be established in our scheme of things through the courts, through peaceful settlement of disputes. The bent of mind is very important here. Bent of mind must be positive, constructive, within the binds of the Constitution. Do you get it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good.
Thank you,
Then
sir.
who else? Inyaridru, who else was there? Smita, did I ask you? Smita?
Yes, sir. You asked me.
Rishikesh aitu, Smita aitu, Nikhil aitu, then Vijetha.
Yes, sir. I had asked you that query regarding the introduction.
Okay, so all the four, you're clear about the first part. Okay, now let's come to the second part I want to say. How do you prepare for the interview? Well, I'll give you some suggestions which you can keep in mind. First is, your preparation must focus on whatever you have done so far by way of your education. And I won't go into much detail about it because you know what you have studied. And remember, it's not a exam, UGC exam illaido. So they are not going to ask you technical questions like they might in a job interview, which some of you may have appeared. But your personal background, your education must be very thoroughly understood by you, including all the special subjects you have taken in the exam. Because your personal record is before them, your subjects are also mentioned, whatever you took in the exam. So sometimes, by chance, a member may ask you a question on your special subject. You must know that special subject thoroughly. the broad trends which are there. Again, you don't have to be very, very, very specific. It's not a written exam. So let me ask, Vijetha, what was your special subject in the exam?
Sir, my subject is
Higher.
law.
So you can expect questions on law, my dear.
Yes, sir.
What are the trends in law? What is happening in the legal profession today? What do you think about abrogation of Article 370?
Yes, sir.
What is your opinion about the collegium? Do you think that the collegium is doing a good job? There are 100 questions that we can ask about your special subject.
Yes,
And by
sir.
the way, these are all public knowledge subjects. They are not specific to your course.
Yes, sir.
But what they would like to see is the kind of answer you give as a young, intelligent, smart woman. A good answer. That's what they're looking for.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Nikhil, what was your special subject?
Sir, my option is geography, sir.
Very, very important option. Lot of people take geography and they know everyone knows that the reason why an engineer like you took geography was because it was a scoring subject. So I remember last year in Topper, somebody also took geography like you. I think it was Sagar, Alva, Somshekar.
His subject is anthropology, sir.
Anthropology, sorry.
Anthropology.
But geography also, you can ask so many questions in geography. Not the conventional questions that come for your exam, but even otherwise, including about the drift of continents and whether you believe that the entire land mass was one before it was separated, and if so, what is your opinion about it? Or do you think geography determines history? Or is it the other way around? So all these are questions, which call for your presence of mind and a little bit of articulation. You have to think on your feet. Does geography determine history or does history determine geography? What do you think, Nikhil? If a question were to be asked to you, does geography determine history? What will you say?
Sir, I think it goes both ways, sir. Geography does determine history, and on the other hand, history also determines geography, sir. In terms of geography determining history, I think there's a classic example of wherein in World War II, the at the fag end of the World War II, Hitler's army got rerouted at Stalingrad. So they got stuck due to the winter season there. So that entirely determined the way the World War II actually transformed, and that's how some say that, like Hitler was. I mean, his army was around just 50 kilometers away from Stalingrad, and they could even see Moscow at Leningrad, Petersburg. So that's how they say that the winter entirely determined the course of history of World War II. So it would have been a different scenario at this point if Germany had won the World War. So on the other way, history also determines geography, sir. So in terms of how man has transformed the nature itself altogether by building dams, or how we've actually kind of the climate change has impacted the entire world itself. So it goes both ways, sir.
No, the first part of what you said is okay. It was a little longer. The most classic example of history determining geography is what you said. Geography determining history. The other is, of course, that the geography of India and China determine the history of relations between India and China.
Right.
ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ you will get into a question mode about China, why, what is happening. In other words, you are steering the interview to your advantage.
Right, sir.
Geography to history, and history and geography, well, it's open-ended. I don't know. One important way is colonial powers in Africa. They set artificial boundaries between countries on the basis of square blocks. You see the map of Africa. And therefore, this was a case of history determining geography. Because you see, they did not follow any laws of ethnicity or whatever. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಈ ತರ ಲೈನ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು ಈ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. They divided.
Right.
So that is what it is. So what was the special subject you took, Smita?
So coming to my graduation subject, it will be data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence. Other than that, my optional is Kannada literature. So
In the IAS, you took Kannada literature.
yes, sir.
But you see, you have opened to so many questions because of AI, data science, application of AI today, that AI is going to create the next revolution. What do you think about it? Do you think it's going to displace jobs? How will you respond to it? And they'll extend it generally and saying, what do you think about privacy? There's so much of data explosion that's going on. And the government has recently brought about an enactment. What do you think of that enactment?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, it is fantastic what is going to happen, the kind of questions that can be asked, Smita, and you have to prepare yourself on those lines broadly. And similarly, Kannada literature is fantastic. How many Jnanapith awardees were there? Can you just tell us what their contributions are in one sentence each? And who is the latest Jnanapith awardee? Why was he given the award? What is special about Kannada literature, Kannada language that has so many Jnanapith awardees, 7 of them?
8 of
Who was
them.
the
8.
8? Sorry. Who was the first Jnanapith awardee? Is the Kannada spoken in northern Karnataka the same in southern Karnataka? So, Smita, it's such a fertile area for a conversation, not question and answers. Tick ಮಾಡಿ next question illa idu. Multiple choice question illa idu. So you should really, really bone up all your skills on who are the 8 awardees here from the beginning?
Of Kuvanpu, Rabendre, Shivram, Masti Venkatesh Iyengar, Chandrasekhar Kambar is there.
Ananthamurthy,
Vikru
Girish
Gokak.
Karnad.
Yes, Ananthamurthy, Vikru Gokak, and one more I don't remember at this.
There are 7, I think, if you don't know.
No, sir.
Check up.
8. Chandrasekhar Kambar, it's 8, I guess.
Okay. So you make sure that you know who they are. Atara Kerala, who are the 8 anta nanu out of general knowledge I wanted to know. Okay. And finally, Rishikesh, what was your special subject?
So my specials is sociology.
So why did you take sociology for the mains when you are a BE civil?
Yes, sir. That is primarily because of my interest in sociology. And if I'm entering a service which is all India based, I think we need to understand the pulse of the society and the way the
How will
society
the knowledge
thinks.
of sociology help you to be a good IPS officer?
Understanding the needs of the people, sir. I think the and
how will the needs of the people be reflected by your sociological knowledge?
The fear that the people possess in approaching the police, or the perception that is built since a very long time on the police, all these can be changed with a different approach. The sociology helps me change this perspective on the department.
Good. Why is there so much of emphasis on ethnicity today and the clash between people on the basis of ethnicity? What do you think it's due to?
Sir, I think it is the increasing regionalism and the possessiveness towards their own culture and their own ethnicity. Ethnicity is a varied subject. It can be race, it can be culture, caste, anything. So these variations help them bind to their own thing. And when there is an external influence on their possession, there is a feeling of otherization, and this otherization helps them fight for their belonging.
Very good.
This
There's a
leads to
feeling of
conflict.
exclusion.
Yes, sir.
Include me and they. What's
Yes,
not
sir.
otherization? Very good. That's excellent answer.
And this leads to conflicts, which ultimately brings chaos in the society.
The next question, although you don't have to answer, will be, can give us an example of ethnic conflict in the world. So you be ready about all that. I'm saying,
Yes, sir.
so you get what I'm saying, my dear friends.
Yes, sir.
It's all open-ended conversation. Yavudo they don't carry in their notebook. Hing prashne kelbeko adella ilve illa. It can lead to many things. And what they expect is that you will have a frame of mind that can assess and answer these questions. Frame of mind, which is again honest, good communication, positive and precise. This first part that I told you, it rolls over into every kind of response. So one is for preparation, your education and special subjects are very important. Secondly, knowledge about your state. That you're all from. When was Karnataka formed? Why was the name of Mysore changed to Karnataka? What are the regions of Karnataka state, especially if you are from North Karnataka? What is the argument in North Karnataka about being part of the whole state? And what is special about Kalyan Karnataka? Are all the coastal regions of Karnataka the same as other regions? Who are the prominent thinkers, social thinkers of Karnataka today? When was the first freedom struggle in Karnataka? In Mandya especially. So I'm saying Karnataka is a state which all of you belong to. And that is a point which you should be thoroughly prepared. Read about the history of Karnataka. What are the prominent dynasties of Karnataka? Hoysalas, Chalukyas, Vadayas. So I'm saying which are the sites declared as heritage by UNESCO in Karnataka? So art, history, sociology, culture. Now, do you require that knowledge if you want to be in the IAS and IPS? Definitely. Because it gives you a perception and an appreciation of what the state is about. But don't spend too much time on it because this is not an exam on Karnataka. But these are the dimensions which you should absorb and understand in order to prepare about a good interview. The third is the history of the freedom struggle. See, these are, from my time, they would say this freedom struggle, movement, they kind of come through in all conversations because India is now 75 years old. By the time you go for your interview, I think the Republic would have been constituted 75 years ago, right? Very good question, especially for Vijetha. Okay, what is special about the Indian Constitution? And all of you, in fact. Why is it a written constitution? Why couldn't it have been an unwritten constitution? What is an example of an unwritten constitution? What are fundamental rights? What is the difference between fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy? What is the meaning of the statement, the rule of law? What is the meaning of the statement, separation of powers? Is there a conflict between the judiciary and the executive? What is GST? How are disputes in GST settled? Recently, the government have announced the formation of the Finance Commission. What is the role of this Finance Commission? Who has been appointed chairman of the Finance Commission? What will be the importance of the Finance Commission for your state? Those are all real aspects of general knowledge which you should know. And I'm not going into each one. I'm not going to ask questions. Adella Somshekar Martare. I'm only familiarizing you with the terrain of the interview. And I'm doing it together in a group so that you can hopefully share from each other, cooperate, and take it as a learning experience. So, very important that you should know about this freedom struggle, Dandi, Salt March, Mahatma Gandhi, and then leading on about India, Constitution, Parliament. That is the third aspect of preparation. Fourth aspect of preparation is general knowledge, especially contemporary events and global issues. Ellaru kelodi ivattu on global warming. Recently, COP28 was held. What was the finding of COP28? Do you think it is realistic? Especially, do you think it is feasible to eliminate fossil fuels altogether? Obviously, there is no right answer. There's one group that says fossil fuel will continue forever because it's the base load power. India cannot only depend upon renewable energy. But you can give any answer you think it is advisable, provided you think it through. You're consistent, you're articulate, you're basing your answer on some data and facts. So these general knowledge issues, what do you think this war in Ukraine that has been going on for 2 years, how do you think it is affecting India? Recently, in the Red Sea, drones attacked Indian ships. What do you think is the implication of this? If any of you had opted for the foreign service, there would be other questions on the foreign service, geopolitical, geostrategic matters. But all of you should be aware that, this G8, G20 declaration took place September 23. What is the significance of this G20? So general knowledge. So this is a very broad omnibus term, general knowledge. It can include many things. When you go for the interview, the Bangladesh elections would have happened on January 7th. So what do you think of the elections in Bangladesh? What do you know about the history of Bangladesh? Who was the first president of Bangladesh? So that's the fourth aspect. And the fifth and final aspect that I can think of is something pertaining to you. For instance, if it is a question of, if it is Mr. Rishikesh, I see that you're working in ISRO.
Yes, sir.
So Rishikesh, why do you want to leave ISRO, which is a great national organization? You don't have to answer, Rishikesh.
Yes, sir.
And join the IPS. What do you think of Chandrayaan, the success of Chandrayaan? What does it point to? What are the other aspects of ISRO that you are familiar with? How has ISRO managed to create a sense of purpose and commitment in its employees? So like that, Mr. Nikhil, you can be asked questions in artificial intelligence. You can be asked questions in, this great thrust we have towards infrastructure, because you're a mechanical engineer. Vande Bharat trains. That also applies for Smita, who is a BTech. So, your subjects will also bring out questions. Again, there, my suggestion is be familiar with the broad trends in your subject and how it applies and how it relates to India. And again, have a positive attitude to it. Bring out the constructive aspects. So if you really, so these are the 5 things I want to inform you about preparation. 1 is about your educational background and the special subjects you offered for the IAS. 2nd is knowledge about the state, especially its history, its culture, its background. 3rd is the freedom struggle leading to the constitution and about the special creation of India as a democracy. 4th, general knowledge, especially contemporary events and international events. And 5, some subjects pertaining to you, your workplace, what you're doing, etc. So those are the 5 things in preparation. So overall, I have given you 10 subjects today. 5 relating to your personal equipment and 5 relating to your preparation for the interview. Now let me ask each one of you, what is your feedback on this 5 relating to preparation? Rishikesh,
Sir,
what
yes,
is
sir.
your opinion?
I think
Go
these are
ahead.
very, yes, sir. These are very broad topics, and I need to study deeper subjects related
Such
to
as?
these, such as current events relating to these 5 topics.
What about Smita?
These are all like we have to know some general issues and we have to know what is happening around us and have an opinion or some knowledge about it to answer. Even if we don't know about the topic, at least something we should have read, I think, to answer it.
Okay. Mr. Nikhil?
Yes, sir. In 5 of these points, I think I'm pretty confident on certain parts, but I'm quite low on knowledge on certain aspects of such as knowledge on the state or with respect to the educational background that I had. Probably
So,
try
Nikhil, when you went for
connect it
your
with the current
interview,
affairs.
Nikhil, can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir.
When
Yes,
you
sir.
went
You're
for your
audible. Am I audible,
interview,
sir?
yeah, you are. When you went for your interview the first time, was this the kind of preparation you did in terms of your educational background, special subjects offered, knowledge about the state, constitution, freedom struggle, general knowledge, or your own work in ISRO, etc.? I don't know whether you're in ISRO then, maybe you are not then. But did you prepare like this?
Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. I prepared on similar lines, but my questions are more skewed towards the DAF or the the interest and the various other aspects that I put in the DAF, sir. Rather than on my educational background, it was more towards the DAF, the kind of information that I'd filled on the DAF.
Vijetha, what is your feedback?
Yes, sir. So I think the one unique point that I got from this is the knowledge that we need to have regarding the freedom struggle, given that we are celebrating India at 75. This is one aspect that I had not focused on until now. As per the other points, sir, I need to study in detail for each one of them, though I have some command over my optional subject. But with regard to the state and other general knowledge, especially in the international relations, I need to work upon that to a great extent, sir.
Excellent. So one other thing I'd like to tell you is that you should not be caught by surprise by any question. Because when you go for the interview, something may have happened that day or 2 days before or 3 days before. And it is likely that they may ask you something about that. I don't know what's going to happen. For instance, today's news says that ISRO has just mounted a probe for assessing black holes in space. You might have read that, or you should read it. So if that is so, what do you think of this? What is the meaning of black holes? How does it work in practice? I'm just saying that, or some prominent person might feature in the news. For instance, Verghese Kurian, who celebrated his centenary. So, who was Verghese Kurian? What is his contribution to Amul? How has Amul made a difference? Or suddenly they may ask a question to you like, who is your role model in life and why? Again, my dear friends, that is an intensely personal question. There is no right answer. And the right answer is illadike. Because my role model may not be your role model. Although generally parents are role models of children. And that apart, there are other role models. So I have a few suggestions for Mr. Somsekhar. Is that if you really want all the four to be thoroughly prepared and you want them to get into the All India services of their choice, one is you should organize a little bit of information about these points I mentioned, about knowledge of the state, freedom struggle, about general knowledge issues, some written material which they can read apart from their own research, because each of them to do an independent study and all that, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ time ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. So if you can through Topper do something, it will be very valuable for them, number one. And number two, you encourage them to form a kind of a study group by which whatever I mentioned today can be discussed with them. And in addition, they may have their own views. They're all intelligent people. They need not only believe in what I'm saying. They may have their own views. And by that time, information will come on what are the kind of interviews that are being held. Although the pattern is the same year after year. ಏನಾದರೂ ವಿಶೇಷ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡು, that can be, they can have a focus group among themselves. They need not come physically. They can meet in Zoom, talk to each other, and just chat and build each other up, support each other. And if there are others also, you can bring them into the conversation. That is the second suggestion I would make. And third, Somsekhar, is Topper Academy in the whoever has qualified earlier. I don't know whether they have qualified for IAS or IPS, but at least they might have qualified for central services. Or if you can bring some younger IAS officers, 2-3 years of service, who has done the exam recently, ಅವ್ರನ್ನು ಕರೆದು ಮಾತಾಡಿಸಿ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Because you see, the moment you see somebody else who has done it successfully, you will also get the confidence. I can also do it. Finally, it is that confidence. Yes, I can. And kail ide adu. That will take you through the interview. Okay, now I have couple of minutes so that I'd like you all to tell me individually what is the study you are doing, when your interview is, and how you are preparing yourself, and what are the help you want from topper or anybody in order that you can have a successful interview. Vijetha, take your time.
Yes, so I think the help that I would require is particularly with regard to preparation of the state, the current issues of the state. So, like you mentioned, sir, a session or study material on that would be very helpful. Other than that, from my end, I have been preparing the optional subjects and my interests and hobbies that I mentioned in my detailed application form. My interview is not scheduled in the first phase, so I'm expecting that it can be anywhere after 16th February. So, because I have sufficient time, currently I'm taking some time to prepare my optional thoroughly because it's a little technical.
Good. Are you nervous, Vijetha?
Slightly, sir.
You should be.
Yes, sir.
If you are a little nervous, you will do better. But you should not become overwhelmed by the occasion.
Yes, sir.
Because you studied in a very good university. You moved with good peers. Your English language skills are good.
Yes.
Your articulation is also very good. So you should have no problem, huh?
Yes, sir.
You should sail through the interview.
I hope to, sir.
Yeah, I hope to see you in the IAS in the Karnataka cadre.
I hope to, sir. Thank you for that.
I'll come and shake your hand and tell you. You know, Somshekar, nanu Gulbarga hogide.
Yes, sir.
And I met this deputy commissioner, young lady. And she was very sweet to me. You know, I had to meet her about some matter. And she said, "Sir, I know you very well." I said, "How?" She said, "You came to my school to deliver the school prize when I was in the 11th standard. And you were then Commissioner BBMP, and since then you are my role model. And so I remember you very distinctly, and I'm very grateful to you for having inspired me to get into the IAS. I never knew that I inspired her. But, you know, I'm just saying that you must have a role model, or you must have some kind of a reach which will help you to overcome the situation if you're feeling nervous and so on. But if you're feeling nervous, nothing like it. You must feel nervous, but to a point. You know, genius is 99% preparation, 1% perspiration, or 1% godliness. Preparation is the key. Systematic, thorough preparation. So all the best to you, Vijetha, and I'm happy to help in any manner you want. I'll tell you at the end what I can do later.
Okay,
Nikhil?
thanks.
Nikhil?
Right, sir. Sir, actually, currently I'm working in the state government, sir. So I am
Labor Commissioner. That also you've been working. So there, you know, Industrial Disputes Act, and now the next phase of labor reform is amalgamation of all the laws and application of the laws. So you have a very big area also.
Right.
Like ISRO, you also have I should have alerted you. I'm glad you said that. Where are you now posted, Nikhil?
Sir, I'm posted at head office, sir. Unorganized
What are
workers.
you?
Sir, I am currently working as Assistant Labor Commissioner, ALC. So I'm still on probation, sir. I'm still on probation.
Who is the
So
Labor Commissioner now, Nikhil?
Dr. Gopal Krishna Gowda, sir.
Okay, good. Very good. Very good. Fertile area for questions. You can expect a lot of questions on Minimum Wages Act.
Right.
On, you know, whether agriculture also should have a Minimum Wages Act. Things like that, Nikhil.
Right, sir.
So many questions can be posed. And they ask these questions not to make out that you are an ignorant fellow, but to see what is the quality of your mind. How do you think through these things? Okay.
Right.
Good. Are you prepared? Well prepared?
So, sir, that was my pointer here, sir. So I'm not quite sure on how I should present myself as from part of the state government at this point. So probably I'm also quite confused on how the questioning would come up from the board. Since
Right? You should be proud that you are in the labor department.
yes, sir.
You should be proud that you're assistant labor commissioner on probation and whatever subject you're dealing with. And tone up your knowledge about the labor laws and all that and what the department does. And such an important activity for the country and the state. Yeah, you should. You don't have to be diffident, and there is no reason why you should feel diffident about being in the labor department. And if they ask, why do you want to leave the labor department and get into the IAS? That's an intensely personal thing. You have to give a proper answer for that. Whatever you feel is right, you must say it.
Right, sir.
You decide why you want to join the IAS.
Right.
The contribution that you can make, the impact you have, the ability to make things happen. Naan nodidini khuddagi. I come from Mandya. Mandya tane, Nikhil?
Oh, sir. Yes, sir.
I have seen, deputy commissioners make a difference in Mandya, and I feel I too can do that. Atara yenadru helbekappa.
Got it, sir.
Good. I'm looking forward, Nikhil, to seeing your name in the IAS.
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir.
And shaking your hand as a young IAS officer or whatever service you want, IAS, right?
Right.
Okay, Smita.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. My interview is scheduled on 30th January.
Wow.
And I have been preparing about my DAF, like detailed application keywords, like my interest, hobbies, and particularly about education, since I come from information science background, and there are a lot of issues going on like artificial intelligence, data science, cybersecurity, blockchain, which helps in e-governance. So I'm preparing on those backgrounds, like how it's going to impact on job displacements and the regulations, data protection bill, privacy, on those aspects. And with particularly to Kannada literature, I've gone through in a very broader, not in a very broader way, but okay with that I can manage, I feel. With particularly about Karnataka state, I think I have studied about the basics like forest, geography, climate, and the regional disparity and all. However, I have some issues like in contempt issues like Nandini Amul thing, the ongoing issue or hijab issues. I have to still build my opinions about it and I have to study about it. So
Good. No, Smita, you have such a broad area in which they can ask questions, from all these artificial intelligence, etc., to the other things. So prepare yourself. And what my suggestion to all of you is, these topics that are there, put 3 or 4 points in each topic. And so prepare a short primer on each of these topics. And, make sure that you have these 4 things or 5 things. And broad things. So what they want really is familiarity. They don't expect you to be a, expert in artificial intelligence or whatever. Not that at all. But some understanding, some capacity to make intelligent conversation. That's what it is. And Mr. Rishikesh?
Sir, I've been preparing by dividing these broad questions like topics or current events, starting from the DAF and the news related events. I've split the topics to each page, like 1 page for one topic, and I've been gaining clarity on those in 3 or 4 lines.
Great.
And
That's go ahead, please.
As my friends pointed out, even I lack this subject of states, Karnataka related history or the freedom struggle, and several other subjects attached to the state.
Yeah. So, adana helidini Somshekarge, but my dear friends, please listen. All these subjects are not going to come to every one of you. Obviously not. They're not going to say, okay, education, so what special subject you did then? Knowledge about the state, freedom struggle. It's not It's not an essay type of exam, right? It's a conversation. Depends upon how it takes a turn and how it takes a twist. Basic things are about yourself. Who's appearing for the interview? Mr. Rishikesh or Miss Vijetha or Smita. You're appearing for the interview. Who are you? Ashte. Alinda, it can climb any way it wants. You should be ready for the climb. And at the end of 30 minutes, when they say, okay, thank you, Miss Smita, you must have a feeling of satisfaction. I did my best. Of course, there's always human to say, Nani, no, chanaga madirbodagitu. I could have said it, I could, but that's okay. Under the circumstances, since I had to face the interview board and I was by myself, but final point I want to make is good preparation, strong preparation, belief in yourself, and abundant faith in whoever you want, God, your parents, destiny, whatever, abundant faith. They will take you through the entire interview. So, Somshekhar,
Sir, yes, sir. Just give
I
me a
have
minute.
had a very, very good discussion with these young men and women. And I have told them basically what is the lay of the land, and they know most of it. It's not that they don't know. You have certain inputs to provide to them, which I request you to do. And then if there is anything else they want, they're at liberty. Now, Smita's is the first interview on 30th. So she should go through some mock interviews and she should prepare her for that. And maybe at some point in time, before she leaves, I can again talk to her and then we can make it a kind of an interview.
Yes, sir.
If she wants and if you want.
Yes,
But
sir.
otherwise, whenever the others are there, leave it to the Namadi and try to implement what I said at least 2 or 3 times before January 30th. Let them all meet by Zoom or where are you based, Smita? In Bangalore?
I stay in my hometown, Kanakpura.
And Vijetha, you are in Hubli, yeah?
Yes, I am in Hubli.
And Rishikesh, you are in
Sir,
Bangalore?
Bangalore, sir.
And Nikhil?
I'm also in Bangalore, sir.
So three of them are near Bangalore. One of them is in Hubli. So whatever is logistics, you can provide.
Yes, sir.
And try to get them to talk to some younger IAS or IPS officer who's been there recently or a good KAS officer. They'll get an idea and prepare them for the interview effectively. Good. Really, Somshekhar, you can close now. It's now almost
Yes,
1
sir.
o'clock.
Sir, actually, it was a valuable session. From this, I have suggested some things to them. One is about reading some good books like from famous authors like Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, or Amartya Sen. Some of the books I have suggested them to read every day so that they will have that diversity in their knowledge and also the opinion, how to build the opinion. That is also useful. So, and second thing, I suggested them to go for mirror reading. That's what so that they can improve their confidence. And third thing, I have suggested them to go for their gazetteers, the district gazetteers, so that they can acquaint themselves well with their native. And apart from that, I'm also trying to give them the possible questions on their DAF so that they can just mock it, so that they can build their confidence. And lastly, I'm giving them opportunity to field visits so that they can work with, means go with the officers so that how they work, so that it will build the confidence of the students and they can also feel like I can also do like this. So these are the things I'm as of now planning for them, and also suggested them to read 2 books, that is Rajamarga and Jaitraj, along with the book list. And some of them also started reading those books, sir. This is from my side, sir. If you add anything else, or if they demand something else from apart from this, I'm happy to help them, sir.
They should read the newspapers, Somshekhar.
Yes, sir. That they are
Some quality newspaper ಓದ್ಬೇಕು.
Yes, sir.
And not just the headlines, but also the
Yes.
editorials and business section and all that.
Yes.
They should be up to date.
Sure, sir.
Great.
And thank you so much, sir. And for all of you, Smita, Vijetha, Nikhil, and Hrishikesh. One thing I want to tell about sir is, so even in his busy schedule, so it's very difficult. Even I'm afraid to talk so many times whether in which meeting he will be there or not. So, but in spite of that, he takes care of whenever it comes to students. He's happy to help at any moment. So feel free, and also I'll try to give his number so that you can connect whenever you have some doubts or something. Okay, and last thing, like almost last 3-4 years, whatever whom he have guided, 90% of the students are in place, means they are already working as officers. Sir, actually, Sagarwadi has finished his complete training and he's back in Bangalore.
ಹೌದಾ?
Yes, sir.
ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ?
Bengaluru just last week ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, sir. He said that I will also come and help the students.
Very good. Very good. ಮಾಡಿಸಿ. ಭೇಟಿ ಆಗೋಣ.
So,
Right. Thank you very much.
So thank you, sir.
thank you,
Yes.
sir. Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All the best to each
Thank you
one
very
of
much,
you,
sir.
and wish you good luck, Godspeed, and if I can be of any help, please let me know. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Others be online, please. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So Rishikesh, Nikhil, Smita. ಈಗ ಸ್ಮಿತಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಿಯಾರಿಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂದಿನ ಡೇಟ್ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಾನೇನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ವಿಸಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಇಫ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಟುಗೆದರ್ ದಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್. ಸೊ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ. ಈಗ ನನ್ನ ಸಜೆಷನ್ ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, I have 3-4 officers who can guide personally. Andre, just meeting officer is different. Okay, but getting ಒಂದು ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅವರಿಂದ ಅವ್ರು ಹೆಂಗ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸ್ಕ್ರಾಚ್ ಇಂದ ಹಿಡಿದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಗೋ ಟು ದೇರ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್. ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಸಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ದ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ನಂಬರ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಓವರ್ ದ ಫೋನ್. First preference is, for example, Harsha Banu sir. So you need to travel to North Karnataka. Earlier he was here only. And another is Mithun Kumar JK. That is a IPS officer. Means he is working as a SP in Shimoga. And third is Harsha. Yes, he is working here only in Vishwesvaraya Tower. Okay, deputy director. So you can meet him here only. So he will also guide. And fourth is Shanta Hulmani madam. She is working as additional secretary. She is in protocol department, that is in Vidhan Soda only. And okay, Narendra sir, he is also available in Vidhan Soda only. So I can suggest this these 5 officers. So they take care, like they guide you in each and every aspect, like how the questions can be asked, and also you can work with them, and like you'll get a first acquaintance, like how the officers will be working, so that it will build the confidence among you. Okay, so ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್. ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ನೋ. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಈವನ್ ಗುಡ್, ಆರ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೆಂಡ್. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಟುಗೆದರ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ಸಿ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಇದು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿರೋ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಬೂಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದು. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲವ್ರು ಒಂದೇನೋ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ನಾನು ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಬಲ್ಲೆ, ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ದಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಫೀಲ್ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿಹೇವ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅನ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಹಾಲ್. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾನು ತುಂಬಾ ಪ್ರಿಯಾರಿಟಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಇನ್ನು ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್ ವರ್ಕು ನಿಮಗೆ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಓದೋದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ DS ಸೆಷನ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದು ಏನಾದ್ರು ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದೀರಾ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ಜೈರಾಜ್ ಸರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ಪರ್ಸನಲಿ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ. ಏನೇ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಕ್ವೆರೀಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ UPSC ಪ್ಯಾನಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದವರು, ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಏನು ಹೆಸಿಟೇಷನ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳದೆ ಫೀಲ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಟು ಆಸ್ಕ್, ಅಥವಾ ನಾನು ಕೇಳಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಸರ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಗ್ರೂಪಲ್ಲೇ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನೌ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಟು ಹಿಮ್. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅಕ್ವೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಟು ಹಿಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇನ್ನೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಕೇಳೋದಿದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳಿ, ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ವೈಂಡ್ ಅಪ್ ದ ಸೆಷನ್. ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲಿ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ ಜೊತೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾಕ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಬೇಕು, ಈಗ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಡೇಟ್ ಬಂದಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು. ಸೊ ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಕೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಯಾವ ತರ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ. ಹೇಳಿ ಋಷಿಕೇಶ್
ಸರ್. ನಾವು ಮಾಕ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ತಗೊಬೇಕಂತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಸರ್ ನಾನು.
ಎಸ್,
ಎನಿ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಆಸ್ ಸ್ಮಿತಾ ಇಸ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್
ಟೂ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ there are two things. One thing I will arrange interview in Vidhan Soudha itself. Okay. If all of you are ready to go there, so it will become very easy for me, so that all the officers will be available there and directly interview will be taken there itself. Individually andru kuda ನಾನು ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಬಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮೋರ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಯಾನಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 5 ಜನ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೂರಿಸಬಹುದು. ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ 2 to 3 ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಸೊ ನೀವು ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಶೂರ್ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ ದೇರ್. ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಫೈನ್?
Yes, sir.
ಬಟ್ ಒನ್
ಯಾವ ಡೇಟಲ್ಲಿ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಸರ್?
ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿ,
ಯಾವ ಡೇಟಿಗೆ ನೀವು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ?
ಸಿ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್. ಈಗ ಆನ್ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇದು ಇಷ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಜೆಆರ್ಎಸ್ ಸೆಷನ್. ಮೆನಿ ಮೋರ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದೇರ್, ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಮಿತಾ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು 30th ಸ್ಕೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸೊ ಪ್ರಿಯಾರಿಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಸ್ಕೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಯ್ತಿದ್ದು. ಮೇ ಬಿ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಸೆಷನ್ ಬರ್ಬೋದು ನಾಳೆ 10 ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡಿ ಅಂತ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸರ್ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ಕೆ. ಬಟ್ ಡೇಟ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಪ್ರಿಯಾರಿಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಈವನ್ ಮಾಕ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಪ್ರಿಯಾರಿಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಮಿತಾ ನೀಡ್ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ ಡೇಟ್ ನಾನು ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
Sir, I am actually ready to go anytime this week or next week, sir. Probably ನಾನು ಹೆಂಗ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ 3rd week or 4th week of January ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1 weekend ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋಣ ಅಂತ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್
ನಾನೇನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ಡೇಟ್ ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
yes sir, date exactly sir.
ಡೇಟ್ ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇನ್ನು ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಫ್ರಮ್ ವೇರ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ದ ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ನಾನು ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ.
Right sir.
ಬಿಫೋರ್ ದಟ್ ಸಿ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ದೇರ್ ಯು ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಡೂ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅದನ್ನ
Right.
ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಕ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಮಾಕ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇನೆ. ಬೈ ಅಟೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ 100 ಮಾಕ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರಾಗ ಏನು ಯೂಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ 2 to 3 ಮಾಕ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂಸ್ ಎನಫ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಗೈಡ್ ಯು. ಬಟ್ ಮಾಕ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಒಳಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾಕ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಓಕೆ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೆಲಿವರ್, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಕನ್ಫರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಐ ನೋ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಸೊ ದೇ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಗಿವ್ ಮಾಕ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಈಚ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್. ಅದು ಟೈಮ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಜೆಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಬುಕ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಯು. ವಾಚಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಕ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂಸ್, ವಾಚಿಂಗ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ವೆಟರನ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್, ಅದು ತುಂಬಾ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಥರ್ಡ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ DAF ಅದನ್ನ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ 1 or 2 ಮಾಕ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂಸ್. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದೇ ಮೇನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದು ಏನೂ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಸೇಯಿಂಗ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆಂಟ್, ಎಸ್ ನಾನು ಒಬ್ಬ ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಬರುತ್ತೋ ಸೊ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ವರಿನ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಬೇರೆ ಇನ್ನೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಇದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಡೇಟ್ ಆದಷ್ಟು ಬೇಗ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನೀವು ಸಿಂಕ್ ಆಗಿ, ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ದ ಸಿನರ್ಜಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇದೆ, ಮೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಸಿನರ್ಜಿ. 4 ಜನನು ನೀವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ ಜಸ್ಟ್ 30 minutes 20 minutes ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಕಾಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ನೀವೇ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆಶಾ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ, ಲೆಟ್ ಹರ್ ಶಿ ವಿಲ್ ಪುಟ್ ಟೈಮಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ನೀವೇ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಮೀಟ್. ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ ಯು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು ತಪ್ಪಿಲ್ಲ, ವಿಜಯಪುರದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಹುಬ್ಳಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು, ಮಂಡ್ಯ, ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಫೈನ್. ಸೊ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್, ನಿಮ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೀವೇ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅಂಡ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಅ ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಸೇಷನ್. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲೆಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಬಿ ಲೈಕ್ ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಫೀಲ್, ವಾಟ್ಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ 20 minutes ಫ್ರಮ್ ಟುಡೇ. ನೀವೊಂದು 30 days ಇದನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸರ್ಸೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ನಾಲೆಜ್, ಒಬ್ರು ಹಾಕೋ ಎಫರ್ಟ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ. 1 time ಇದ್ರೆ ಇದು 10 times ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 4 people ಎಫರ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ 10 time ಅಷ್ಟು ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಡೈಲಿ ಒಂದು ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಟೈಮಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಬೆಟರ್. ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ 7 o'clock ಆರ್ ನೈಟ್ 10 o'clock ಆರ್ 9 o'clock, 9 to 9:20. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಲಾಗಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸಮ್ ಡೆಕೋರಮ್. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ one person will be asking a question, others will be trying to answer, and others will be answering. Or I am giving a information, it may be useful for you. Or I have read this Amartya Sen article today, let me share that insights. Somebody has read Discover India, so let me share those insights. So like this you think. ಓಕೆ,
Yes, sir.
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಎಫರ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಡೈಲಮಾ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಮೀ, ಸರ್ ಟುಡೇ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸಮ್ 10 questions which we want to discuss. I will also log in into the session. Okay, fine.
Yes, sir. Sir, and one question. If Smita, she is having an interview on Jan 30.
Yes.
So she'll be giving mock before 15 or 10 days, right?
No, it depends on her. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You think you know ನಿಮ್ದು synchronization ಇದ್ರೆ definitely ನನಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಈಸಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
Okay, Smita, if you can answer when you are taking the mock in Bangalore, then we will also join you, because it is a half an hour. You will be finishing your mock, and the same day itself we can also give our
mock the officers mentioned by sir.
Okay.
Probably
ನನಗೆ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ 2 days ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಅಥವಾ 3 days ಬಿಫೋರ್ ನಂಗೆ ಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ ಕೋಆರ್ಡಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಟಾಸ್ಕ್. ಒಬ್ಬರಾದ್ರೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಟೈಮಿಂಗ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. 3-4 ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ ಶುಡ್ ಕಮ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್. ನೋ, ಸೊ ನನಗೆ 3 days ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್.
probably next week.
ಓಕೆ, ನೀವು ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡೇಟ್ ಹಾಕಿ ನನಗೆ, ಸರ್ ಲೈಕ್ 8 to 10. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದೇ ಡೇಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಅವೈಲಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸರ್ 8 to 10 ವರೆಗೆ ನನಗೊಂದು ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ. ಐ ವಿಲ್ schedule and let you know. Okay.
Yes, sir. Because February 16th is the first phase will end. And what if 17th, if any of our number is there, then it will be a panic. So
don't worry. ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋದು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬರ್ಲಿ ಡೇಟ್.
Yes, sir.
See, it is not like now Smita is having urgency. Next another few set of people will be there.
Yes, sir.
ಅವ್ರಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ.
Yes, sir.
So
If Smita is taking...
also fine for me, sir.
Sorry, Nikhil.
Next week it's fine for me, sir. I can take up the interview next week also.
ಅದೇ ಈಗ ಸ್ಮಿತಾ ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳಿದಾರಲ್ವಾ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಪುಟ್ ಅ ಡೇಟ್. ಸರ್ ಯು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪುಟ್ ಅ ಡೇಟ್ ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ವಿಸಿಟ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅದನ್ನ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿ. Because I know you will learn more than mock interview in the field visit. First hand experience ನಾನೇ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಐ ಗಾಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಾಗಭೂಷಣ್, ಅದೇ ನಾಗಭೂಷಣ್ ಸರ್ ಕೇಳಿದಿರಾ? ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಾನು ಮಂಡ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು DC ಆಗಿದ್ರು. ಅವ್ರ ಚೇಂಬರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 2 hours ಅಲ್ಲ, ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಐ ಸ್ಪೆಂಟ್ 6 to 7 hours. ಓಕೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ್ರು ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಹೋದೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನನಗೆ ಇದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಬಂದಿತ್ತು. ಓಕೆ, ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಬೂಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆ? ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಕೇಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಓಕೆ, ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ದಿಸ್, ನಾನು ಮಾಡಬಲ್ಲ ಇದನ್ನ. ನನಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಹಂಗ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತು. ಸೊ ಇಂಟ್ರೂ ಕೊಡೋಕೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಾಯ್ತು. ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾನು ಅವತ್ತಿಂದ ರೆಪ್ಲಿಕಾ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಯಾವಾಗ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೂ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಎಸ್ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಫೀಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೇದು. ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಪ್ರತಿ ಸರಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ 2-3 people ಜೊತೆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೇದು. ಓಕೆ.
So just a suggestion, if we can have the field visits and the interview scheduled the same day or the next day, then it will help me.
Both are okay, got it, but both are different aspects. Yakandre field visit is like
the consecutive days, sir. If the others 3 are also okay with it, then I can plan my travel to Bangalore accordingly.
Okay, no. Field visit with whom you are going is also, see, all the 5 people you cannot have field visit. So you may be meeting 1 or 2 officers for field visit, correct? So for example, you may be planning to meet. So for example, for Hrishikesh, I am suggesting Mithun Kumar, because police department definitely he must meet him.
Yes, sir.
For others, you choose. Got it? So you may meet Harsha Banu sir or Narendra sir. So those are working in that field. So ನಿಮಗೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಅಕ್ವೈಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಬರಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಉದ್ದೇಶ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ if it happens to be like this and like today's field visit, next day is mock interview, that is fine. But both are different aspects.
Yes, I understand.
So I think it depends on if Smita decides a date and she gives a date.
No problem.
I think we'll join her.
You discuss the date in group.
Yes,
and
sir.
I will try to arrange that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Both field visit and this one.
Yes, sir.
Field visit can be individual, no issues. But if you go together, they will also get more energy. More people, more energy, so that they will take more time to spend with you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
There ಏನೇನಾದರೂ ಇದೆಯಾ?
No, sir.
No.
Okay then. Okay. So, we'll end the session. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.